Hi guys, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 13. I'm bringing you another collections video. I'm really quickly filming this because I have family over and I just got home from work, so I am quickly like changing and filming a video after I've actually like changed and I'm ready. I'm taking this time to quickly get my video done in today, so apologies if it's a little bit rushed. Also, if you hear like children yelling in the background, my niece and nephew are over. So I'm bringing you today my Penguin Red Classics, which are not red in any way, shape, or form, and also my John Wyndham collection. These sit on the same shelf on my bookshelf that I film in front of. They're on the lower part though, so you don't really see them when I film. So I'm gonna get started with the Wyndhams. So first one I have here is the chrysalids, which I love this, but it's not the same size as the other ones. It's a little bit smaller. I love the chrysalids. I first read this when I was like 10. I've reread it a bunch of times. It deals with like a post-apocalyptic world and like mutations. It's really, really interesting, so I would highly recommend it if you are new to Wyndham. I have Consider Her Ways and Others by John Wyndham, which I think is a collection of short stories. This is one of the few I haven't read. And I'm looking forward to it. I think I got this used for like $8.99. Normally they're about $20 Canadian, so it was a good bargain. Same with The Seeds of Time. I think this was another used one. I haven't read this one yet. Oh no, this one, no. Yes, it was another used one, which is it's basically brand new when I buy them from B&V, but they're marked down quite significantly, so they could also be overstocked. This one is... it's another collection of short stories, so I haven't read this one either. As after I said I'd read most of these. The next one is The Trouble with Lichen, which I read this year. I absolutely loved this. I find this to be super feminist. It deals with like the questions of morality, of what happens when like some people can have their ages extended but other people can't. I found this really, really interesting and I really enjoyed this one. Next up is The Day of the Triffids, which is a speculative fiction as to what would happen with nuclear fallout. Basically, everybody in the world goes blind except for our protagonist and a couple other people, and the world is dominated by man-eating plants who appear shortly before the like nuclear fallout. Very interesting. I really, really enjoyed this. Yeah. I also have The Kraken Wakes. This one deals with the question of what would happen if the world was invaded by aliens. Basically, aliens invade the deep sea, and like it discusses the consequences of that and how humanity would react. A lot of Wyndham's work tends to be kind of a little bit more speculative. He's living in the 1960s and writing in the 1960s during the Cold War, so a lot of that has to deal with like nuclear fallout. Next up is Chalky, and basically Chalky is about a young boy who develops an imaginary friend at the age of 10, which his family thinks is quite odd because he's 10 years old, he should be too old for that, but his imaginary friend is actually real and is an alien, and it's about the consequences of that. And the last one, which I haven't read, is The Midwich Cuckoos, which I will just quickly read the back. I love these covers. These are beautifully designed. I think there's only 2 more in the series that I don't have, so I really, really want these. And in the sleepy English village of Midwich, the mysterious silver object appears and all the inhabitants fall unconscious. A day later, the object is gone and everyone awakens unharmed, except for all the women in the village are discovered to be pregnant. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one. That's probably the next one I'm going to read. I've heard very good things about this. So now onto my Penguin Red collection, which is actually complete. I rushed to get these. I bought these basically over the course of like 3 or 4 months. I'm going in opposite order because that's just the way they came off my shelf. So the 10th in the collection is The Haunted Hotel by Wilkie Collins. I haven't read this yet. I haven't read most of these yet, but I'm really looking forward to digging into these. What is The Haunted Hotel about? A sinister countess is driven mad by a dark angel. An innocent woman is made the instrument of retribution. A murdered man's fury reaches from beyond the grave. That's basically just the quick sum up. Unfortunately, this has a sticker on the back and it's a little bit dirty because I had to buy a lot of these used because a lot of them are out of print. So unfortunately, some of them are a little bit banged up, but I am looking forward to this because I do quite enjoy Wilkie Collins. One of the ones that I have read is The Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe. This is a collection of short stories by Poe, and I really enjoyed this. Some of my favorites were Hot Frog and The Black Cat, although The Black Cat does deal with cruelty to animals, so if you are very sensitive to that, I would advise against reading that one. I have The Virgin of the Seven Daggers by Vernon Lee. This is the 8th one in the collection. I haven't read this one yet, so I will read the back. Unfortunately, this one's kind of really damaged. It's got some like ripping on the spine. I don't know if you can see that, if that's in focus or not. And the back's really dirty, which is upsetting, but I'll read you the first little thing. The brutal Don Juan, an unrepentant sinner, makes a pact with the Virgin of the Seven Daggers. He promises forever to proclaim her supreme beauty and asks in that return that she saved him from damnation. Interesting. I will probably get around to this. I've never read any Vernon Lee. I basically just own all of these because they're in this collection. I also don't quite know why they call them the Penguin Red Classics, because they're in no way, shape, or form red. But oh well. I think it has to do with the blood or whatever. Another one that I have read is Lois the Witch by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is a collection of short stories which include... Sorry, I'm going to go to the title page because I don't remember them off the top of my head. The Poor Clare, which I had read prior to this, which is about a nunnery and kind of gothic tale. The Doom of the Griffiths, which is a really interesting story about a Welsh family. Lois the Witch, which deals with the Salem witch trials and is the title story. And then The Crooked Branch, which is another gothic story. All of these books tend to cover like gothic tales, so yes, I really enjoyed the Gaskell one, and that's actually the one that got me started on buying these collections. Next up, I have Bram Stoker's The Lair of the White Worm. I've heard that this is super racist and super misogynistic, so I'm not looking forward to reading it, but it is in the collection, so I'll probably get around to it at some point. I also have The House on the Borderland by William Hope Hodgson. This one is about a manuscript is found filled with small, precise writing and smelling of pit water. It tells the story of an old recluse and his strange house, and its even stranger jade green double, seen by the recluse on an otherworldly plane where gigantic gods and monsters roam. That sounds interesting, kind of sci-fi, kind of fantasy, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. I don't know much about that. I also have Ambrose Bierce's The Spook House, which I know absolutely nothing about, but the other knife says Terrifying Tales of the Macabre, so I'm looking forward to that. I think I just brutalized that word, but as one does. A little boy is lost in the wilderness with nothing but his wooden toy knife to protect him when he comes across a ghastly spectacle of unspeakable horror. Two travelers caught in a storm one night take shelter in a deserted plantation house and discover a room filled with the dead. An old man suspected of murder gets a grisly comeuppance. So yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to reading that one. I tend to read these types of books around like Halloween, but yes. Next one is M.R. Jane's The Haunted Doll's House. So let's read the back. A human drama and its reenactment in a gothic doll's house. A whistle awakens a force of unspeakable malevolence. An ancient curse is passed from person to person. A grisly crime is avenged from beyond the grave. The tomb of a Swedish count is will not rest quietly. So that one sounds relatively interesting. I haven't read anything by M.R. James, so I'm looking forward to that. Next up is The Beetle by Richard Marsh, and I think this might actually be my favorite cover out of all of them. I'm looking forward to that one. It inspires terror in all who look at it. I'm not going to read all of this. Basically, it's about a beetle that comes from Egypt, and I'm guessing curses people. I'm looking forward to reading that one. And last up which is the first book in this collection. I've gone backwards. The Dunwich Horror by H.P. Lovecraft, which I have read. This is a collection of short stories by H.P. Lovecraft. I did not enjoy this in any way, shape, or form. It was misogynistic. It was super racist. Lovecraft is an interesting writer. Recently, he was, like, his face was part of the Science Fiction and Fantasy Awards. I think that's what they were called, as part of one of their awards for, like, the premiere of that genre, and it was kind of a bit problematic because he's super racist and very much a white supremacist. So they finally removed that, which is fantastic. But yeah, so I have read this. I did not enjoy it. I would not recommend it. If you don't need to read Lovecraft, don't read Lovecraft. So those are my John Wyndham books and my Penguin Red classics. And I will see you guys in another video tomorrow. Bye.